Chapter 2 The Torchbearer Krish.
Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshayanti te gnanam gnanina swastadarshanam. Bhagwat Gita, Chapter 4, Verse 34. Learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him with reverence and render service unto him. Such an enlightened saint can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth.
You are listening to Radio Mirchi with me, Dhwanit. It is 9:37 a.m. and what a pleasant morning. Good morning, my dear. The radio FM played in the dark grey Ford EcoSport, steadily moving on the Prahalad Nagar Extension Road. It stopped almost every day at the same spot, next to several makeshift huts along the path. 4 young children, around 2 to 6 years old, went up to the car and patiently waited for the window to roll down. Krish made a point of stopping there whenever he was in Ahmedabad and not traveling. The power window rolled down and a hand came out with a few packets of biscuits. The children grabbed them and ran away smiling. The happiness on their faces was priceless, as was the look on Krish's face. This daily interaction happened without any exchange of words. The only exchange that happened was the exchange of smiles. Krish pressed the accelerator and moved ahead towards Narol, the industrial area of Ahmedabad, about 13 kilometers from his house. That was his workplace. Despite his late 40s, Krish possessed a youthful appearance that matched his wild and woolly nature. He was a fashion technologist turned entrepreneur running a successful garment export business. Krish always had a friendly smile for everyone he came across. He simply believed that a smile could really turn around someone's day. Most individuals who met him for the first time were always struck by his smile. When he smiled, the dimples on both sides of his face made him light up like a diamond. His smile was not only pleasant but also intriguing. Whenever he smiled, people just couldn't resist being attentive to him, no matter what they were doing. His charm was irresistible. The sound of honking horns drew his attention to the road across the divider. He stopped short with a screeching brake as he saw a small brown dog limping across the road, tail between its legs as it struggled as quickly as possible to get out of the car's way. Getting down from his car, Krish went across the road with no thought about other passing vehicles and scooped the little creature into his arms before running back to his car. Kneeling, he sat the dog down with a soft smile. "There you go," he murmured. "You're safe now." The dog looked up at him, let out a little bark, and limped away. Krish smiled and drove away to his workplace. Narol, an industrial area that was once on the outskirts of Ahmedabad, now became a part of the city's hustle and bustle. Easy to identify with the textile mill chimneys throwing out dark smoke from a distance and dusty air. Krish's daily commute started in the posh Prahalad Nagar area with the lush green residential area and ended in the dusty, polluted and dry industrial Narol area. He was so used to both extremes that it seemed like a smooth transition to him every morning and evening. As Krish drove past the new flyover at Narol, it suddenly reminded him of his initial days in the area when it was neither crowded nor polluted with dusty air. It used to be a clear and unexplored industrial area with small shops, trucks waiting on the roadside and fast-moving vehicles. And now it had big industrial complexes, a flyover bridge, transport warehouses, and congested traffic even inside the city. What a transformation in just a few years! Krish remembered driving through Narol without any stops, signals in those days, which was now a dream. Krish was feeling nostalgic and intrigued at the same time. His subconscious mind was creating a comparison of this transformation within his own life. How clear and unexplored his life was when he first worked in Narol, with few interruptions and fewer challenges. Work was less stressful and challenging in those days. He could feel relaxed daily while going back home from work, fully satisfied. And now, every day at work was full of hurdles, overflowing thoughts, halts, and problem resolution. The task did not finish at the end of the workday either. Rather, it carried on with stress on the way home most days. Is this the way life is treating everyone? Or is it only me? His mind kept wandering on this question. Krish was a deep thinker. He was someone who was innately curious and deeply insightful. He had a keen sense of what questions to ask in the face of both everyday life and uncertainty. He was never afraid to see eye to eye with practical reality and had the curiosity to explore the possibilities. He saw things that went beyond the apparent questions and solutions. Krish never felt compelled to see things from the general vantage point, since he realized that opinions should always be formed based on what is known and understood in the absence of bias and prejudice. This didn't mean that he could always agree or disagree with others' opinions. He was the one to desire truth, who always looked at things beyond the surface or what was immediately perceivable. He always read between the lines, looking for deeper meanings and sought understanding. He never made a decision until he had thoroughly researched the matter. Driving reflexivity to his parking spot in front of his office, he parked his car, handed over the keys to security, and climbed the steps to his office. Krish was the first one to enter his office as he came earlier than his office time. He was traveling the previous week and thus needed to catch up on a lot of piled up work, and the easiest way to do that was to arrive an hour earlier before the routine. This gave him a peaceful working hour. Krish disliked backlogs of work or ignored emails. That, he thought, was a symptom of low productivity, and he was quite particular about it. Krish stepped into his cabin, which smelled of papers and the fabrics hanging on the corner rack. It took a moment for his eyes to adjust to the brightness. The first thing he noticed on his table was a stack of documents awaiting his approval. Pushing them aside, he turned on his laptop to let the emails download. Krish never liked keeping his emails unread or unanswered for more than 24 hours. He got restless if his unread email count exceeded 3 digits. He read 600 to 800 emails every day on average and responded to nearly a quarter of them on a daily basis. Once emails started downloading, he pulled the pile of papers towards him and started reviewing and authorizing them one by one. While his mind was busy calculating and analyzing the papers he was signing, he ordered a green tea and kept glancing at emails too. Multitasking was his forte, and he always considered it one of his greatest assets in every situation. "Good morning, sir." A greeting came his way and suddenly brought him out of his zone. One of his staff entered his office and greeted him. Other bosses probably wouldn't have liked being interrupted just to be wished with a morning greeting, but this was Krish. He could always maintain an unambiguous divide between his professional and compassionate minds. He raised his head, smiled in return, and got back to reading his emails. When all the unread emails had been read and necessary emails had been addressed, he picked up his phone and checked the notifications. There were a few emails, texts, and WhatsApp notifications. He opened his WhatsApp and glanced through all the work group messages. Suddenly, a WhatsApp message popped up from Nilesh Kotak, one of Arvind Mill's marketing personnel whom he met at a recent textile convention. Hi sir. Hi. I hope I'm not disturbing you in the morning. Need some help? Go ahead. Thanks. One of my college friends has moved to Ahmedabad and is now working for a yarn mill. He has been given the responsibility to enter and develop the market in Tirupur. Can you meet him and offer him guidance because you have years of experience and relationships in the Tirupur market? Okay, what's his name and where is he working? His name is Parth. He is working for Ratan Textiles. Okay, share my number and ask him to text me. Thank you so much, sir. I'm obliged. Never mind. Cheers. Krish got back to his daily routine. Approvals, follow-ups, production status meetings, and he did not even realize when the day ended. It was almost 7:10 p.m. when he finished his last meeting and winded up. It was a long day indeed. He just wanted to get back home and relax.